This is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend DG Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/CapesandLunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Ron Mars. You are listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
I'll be here next week.
In brightest day,
in blackest nights.
No evil shall escape my sight.
But those who worship evil's might.
Beware my power.
GreenLantern's light. Hello and welcome back to Sector 2814, the Green Lantern podcast. I am Phil. Joining me, as always, Master of the Core. It is.
I am Will. Hey, everyone.
And tonight we'll be talking Green Lantern 171 through 175. We're almost at the end of this volume already, William.
I know. It's been a long, strange journey.
We've covered them. We covered every issue. We covered every issue of this volume, including the annuals.
Oh, and one of those annuals.
The Nazi one. Yeah.
Nazi annual.
It's pretty bad when there's a Bloodlines annual in there, and you're like, that's not the worst one. An Eclipso one, that's not the worst one. That's not the worst one. No.
That's the Nazi one. Totally the Nazi one. I'll get on your Picard.
Oh yeah, Picard. Yes. Oh, Picard. Yes.
You know, I haven't talked to you since episode. I talked to you. We talked after episode 7, and I felt it was a pretty weak episode. It was. It's still good, but it was the weakest of the episodes up to that point.
Mm-hmm.
But it was an aberration because 8 and 9. Oh my God! The last episode has two. Well, it has more than two awesome moments in it, but it has two really awesome moments.
Oh yeah. I mean,
one that I was not looking forward to, and one that was just pretty freaking awesome.
Oh, the end, yeah, that was. Oh. when Geordi was like, "I think I have something," I'm like, "No, they wouldn't."
He did, and the other one, I was like, "Damn, that means that's not going to happen now." So, oh well.
But the only thing, I've been enjoying all the episodes, but doesn't it seem like the first 8 kind of went at a certain pace, and then it almost seems like episode 9, they're like, oh crap, we only have one more left after this. We got to hurry up and get stuff done.
They put the pedal to the metal.
Yeah. Like the pacing was a lot quicker at episode 9 than the previous 8.
Well, I mean, they've been building up to it, which I feel like maybe episode 7, maybe it could have been paced a little bit better so that 7, 8, 9, and 10 would have been more of kind of the same pacing instead of that, super acceleration that we got, in
Mm-hmm.
9. I mean, I don't know. I was just 7 is the standout to me because from a plot standpoint, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. And then, but 8 and 9. Awesome. 9 really awesome.
Oh, just the last couple minutes of 9. I'm like, oh, it was all worth it just for the last couple of minutes of 9.
Oh yeah, it was definitely awesome.
How about I hope they kill us quickly.
Yeah. It's positive, right?
I know. Oh, but I can't wait. Oh, but episode 10 is going to be so good.
That'll be something to look forward to on Thursday. That is for certain.
It's going to be such a good episode, but it's going to be sad because it's going to be the last one.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
The last ride, man.
But, there are obvious threads they can take from this. Picard's not going to be there. It's probably the last hurrah for the original cast. But, you still got 7.
Mm-hmm.
You got Rafi, And I am still expecting an appearance by a certain someone who we've not seen yet from Next Gen. We saw him in season 2.
The other son. The other son.
Yep. I don't know. It's been an awesome show. Stacey's enjoyed it too. It's something that yeah, and we've got new final season of Discovery. We've got the next season of Strange New Worlds coming out pretty soon.
Yep.
Lots of good Trek stuff.
Oh yeah.
Lots of good Trek stuff.
Oh yeah. Did we ever discuss the finale? Oh yeah, we did discuss the finale of Quantum Leap, the season finale.
Quantum Leap. Yep.
Yeah. Trying to think, but yeah, no, that's the thing I was been most excited for is Picard. I was like,
I know, it's like, is it Thursday yet? Can we watch? Let's watch the new episode.
They're gonna be, oh my god. Okay, kids, spoilers. Okay, oh my god, how awesome is that going to be when they're coming at the Borg with the Enterprise D? Oh my god.
Yeah, that's.
And
it was funny. They paid off that line because earlier in the episode, what was it? The first episode, nobody likes the D. It's the fat one. Is what I think what he said, or something along those.
Oh, I thought you were going to say when Shaw. I thought you were going to say when Shaw was like, "Oh yeah, you boys are crashing ships," and
Yep.
I love Worf. I love Worf though. He's like, "Oh, the weapon systems on the E," and they're like, "Shut up."
Yeah, and he goes. He says something about the E, and he goes, "That was not my fault." So we don't know what happened to the E, right? I'm kind of curious about that line.
I know. I mean, that completely took me by surprise because I thought, if they get on a Enterprise, it's probably going to be like whatever latest version of the Enterprise there is. But no.
Well, and look at the character that they brought back, which I thought was extraordinarily fitting.
I know. I was like, damn, they went there.
They did. And, wow.
Although I did see people online complaining, at least one or two saying, that should have been Admiral Janeway, damn it.
It makes more sense
but
from a Borg standpoint to be her, I think, especially since we see what happens.
Yes, I was going to say, it's, or that final fate. Yeah, I don't think they wanted to give that to Janeway.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, it's been a stellar series. This season has been stellar. Not to pardon the pun.
Yes, of course. Oh yeah. Oh my god, when they all sat down and that. Oh my god, that last minute, he's it's just. I swear, did they dub in like his old dialogue or something? Because I swear, it's like you could tell he has old man voice, but when he said "engage," man, he sounded nice and 1990s clear. He was like "engage."
Yeah. And boom, they were off.
I was ready to. I was ready to cry, man. I was like, "Oh my god,
this is so awesome!" Yep, absolutely.
All right, should we get to these Guy Gardner-esque issues?
I guess.
I mean, we could walk them through one by one, or we can talk about them as a whole. Because again, I don't have synopses for the. Oh, someone didn't want to write synopses for these.
I wonder why.
I know.
It is one story. It's the Wanted story, right? So it's like a 5-issue arc of Green Lantern number 171 through 175. I don't know. Just a lot of this. Oh, do they pay off? Okay. The ending is nonsensical first.
Yeah. I mean, okay. I mean, we could jump there. Okay, kids. So at the end, Orca looks like Cal's about to die. I mean, we see him say, screw it. And then he like does something. And then the next thing we see on Earth, Terry has the Green Lantern ring.
Yeah.
Ron Mars again, I read ahead. Ron Mars brings it up quickly in his first issue, where it's just we see Cal back on Earth, and he goes, "Boy, I didn't know if putting myself in the ring and sending it to Terry would work, but it worked. That's basically it. So yeah.
Well, do we see Lyra again? Because why the heck did she stab him? That makes no. It's nonsensical.
Yes, yeah. Because at the end, because that's the thing. We gotta get the whole. We defeat the bad guy. Yeah, then Lyra stabs him, and it seems like a mysterious
then kills Amon Sur, but we know he's not dead because he ends up joining the Sinestro Corps later, right?
So yeah, there's no there's no Lyra, there's no explanation of that. So
wait, or am I? I've got to look that up. Am I mistaken for Tomar 2?
I can't remember.
I know 2's.
Yeah, doesn't Tomar 2 come back? Yeah.
Sir DC. Okay.
Boy, the relatives of all these ex-Green Lanterns are dicks.
I know. He was the last. Blah blah blah. Okay. Amon Sur escaped. Then repeated his Alvin's grave after Hal had finally given a proper burial. Okay. Alan eventually had a conversation with Hal Jordan. Okay, so I know. Apparently, he joined Astro Corps. Okay, yeah, he joins the Sinestro Corps as well. So there we go. I mean, we don't know. So the end of this whole thing, we don't know what happens. We don't know why it happens. It never gets explained. It's just. I was going to say, do we ever see Lyra?
Do we ever see Lyra again? I mean,
that is an excellent question. How do we spell her name?
Oh, I can't remember. Is it 2 L's or something? Or hold on, I do have the thing with the issue, like the credits and stuff. I wonder if her name's in here. But what about when Cal's like basically. He's posing as the bounty hunter, and he what is it, Vasquez? Isn't that the name his father's the last name his father's using or something?
I think so. I mean,
I'm like, why does that sound familiar? And then I was like, wait a minute, isn't that the name his father was using? I mean, it sounded too human to me, and I'm like, isn't he supposed to be like an alien or something?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to spell her name. I'm just getting Lyra from Marvel.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. I'm trying to find it here. But yeah, this whole thing was very weird. And again, it's the whole thing. It's like, oh, we got he has to pose as this bounty hunter, get close to Amon Sur. It's like, why? Again, it's like,
why?
Again, he has another black hole weapon or whatever. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Again, I mean, we've said it in the past couple of weeks, but I mean, they tried to build up Amon Sur, but it's just like it's always.
It never really worked,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he has a whole mob. It's like, so we have to build up a whole Green Lantern Corps to take this guy down? I don't think so.
Yeah, he's just a mob dude, and yeah, this whole arc just didn't. It never really felt like Green Lantern, right? To me, at least.
It's Lianna, Lianna. That's we're getting the wrong name here. Yeah.
Lianna.
Yeah, Li and then Anna. Yeah.
DC comic. There we go. I found her. Yeah, and the way they had her outfit, I don't know. I don't know how to go there.
Yes.
Let's see. That's what I mean to showing after going to the Nintendo adult usage 4. Afterwards, she was there to kill Amon Sur. She was shown attempting to kill Amon Sur to stop him. In the process, she had turned on and attempted to kill Green Lantern, although her motivations remain unknown. It was really the source is a gem called the Heartstone. 15 appearances. So she appeared in Green Lantern Volume 3, 175. So that's the last time she appears in that volume. She appears in Green Lantern Volume 4, number 17. So post-rebirth, right before Sinestro Corps War, I think.
Yep.
And then we get her in Omega Men Volume 2, numbers 1 through 6. Didn't Kyle star in that Omega Men series?
You know what? Yeah, I believe so. I never read it. Maybe we should add that to the list when we get there, because I know Lilith actually read that, and I know she was never the biggest fan of Kyle Rayner, and she said she did like Kyle in that book. So
okay, cool. So yeah, we'll put that on the list. That would be a good one to catch up on.
Oh yeah. So
I mean that's post White Lantern Kyle, I believe, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Which is so that's going to be like post New 52 or during New 52, somewhere in there.
Yeah, we have a little bit to go before we get there. But yeah, I mean, and once again, Cal has his little crack team, to like infiltrate. It's like, why aren't we giving these people Green Lantern rings? We talked about this last week. Why aren't we giving them Green Lantern rings?
Yeah, why not? We know we have rings that can duplicate, right?
Yeah, and again, it's like if you don't trust the others, Kilowog's here the whole time. Why aren't you giving him a ring?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, this, we get some Earth time stuff going on with Jade, and which is, and then also Marin finally joining the DEO.
Yes,
and
but it's just so weird. I mean, I know Cal's been gone for a while, but it's just like everyone on Earth pushing Jade to be like, oh yeah, you should date someone else. Yeah, and it's just like, really, no one's sticking up for Cal here.
Well, yeah, okay, I get it, but he's been gone for months.
That's
right?
true. That's true. Oh yeah, I mean, there's nobody's playing this the right way. Kyle, Jade, nobody. So
yeah, but I mean, Cal for GreenLantern and his relationship with Soranic, which I think I really liked that one. Now it ends weird because of time travel and future kids stuff, and she's now Yellow Lantern, but
yeah,
like things happen, like they do.
Yes. Yes, and Amon Vader, yes.
Yes. Now, did Kyle disguising his girlfriend as him killed didn't contribute to her getting killed? Is that I thought that was a weird play, but whatever.
Yeah, especially with the ring, it's like, I mean, I guess, is this part of the Ion upgrades? I was just like,
it was a weird kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, he has the ring. Why would her electro whip affect him if he's being smart? I mean, but again, and then of course, we have the traitor in the midst of the former Green Lanterns, which doesn't make sense because as a former, they took me and tortured me, but you're a Green Lantern. You were a Green Lantern. You're still a Green Lantern. I think this doesn't feel like a Green Lantern story. He's using subterfuge. He's got literally the most powerful, I prefer, tool in the universe. Use it. Hey, you want to find Amon Sur? Okay, go find him. You can. It seems to be a very unimaginative way to try and take him down. But I mean, I don't know. I
can't
the art was
and I can't recharge the ring or I might get caught, even though it'll never run out of charge, but it'll get low.
Yeah, and Amon Sur even talks about that. How is that even public knowledge? I don't understand. And then the Guardians, are having trouble with some black holes. It just seems weird. It just seems weird.
It just seems like Ben Robb wanted to go big for leading up to 175, and I don't think it doesn't feel like it worked. No,
not to me. I mean, and the art. We had I think the same artist, but the art looks a little weird in places. It doesn't have that that nice sci-fi sheen. I get it that we're going for, a kind of a more of a gangster, crime story here, but I would argue that probably wasn't the best way to go, just because, this story didn't really work for me.
And I wonder if, maybe Ben Robb thought this was the end of the series, but then whether they needed more time or they pushed back for some reason. I mean, we can ask Ron Mars for that next week, but it's just I wonder if the original plan was to end at 175 or...
I don't know. I hadn't read these originally, so...
Yeah,
I can't imagine being...
I can't remember when we got the announcement for Rebirth. I swear I remember that we knew Rebirth was coming at least during the Ron Mars arc. I'm not sure if before, but I know during the Ron Mars arc, because I was all worried. I'm like, oh god, they're not going to kill Cal, are they? In those last couple.
Yeah, I mean that, and they could have easily went that way, and I think it was, to their credit, they didn't go that way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was because that gives us that great scene. Okay, it looks like Jeff Johns first announced his plans to resurrect Hal Jordan in an April 2004 issue of Wizard. Noting that he had been working on the 5-issue miniseries for a year and it was due for an October release. So
April 2004 was the cover date of Green Lantern 174. So
okay, and if he had been working on it for a year, then they knew back in the 160s, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe they knew when as soon as Ben Robb took over.
Yeah, because he only got 11 issues. So they actually knew before he took over, right?
Yeah.
12 months before. Interesting. Very interesting.
Well, once again, kids, send us your questions for Ron Mars like this for next week.
Yeah. I mean, which kind of explains why, while the art was solid, it wasn't anything spectacular. I mean, I think that kind of explains why the artists that, were on the book for the last 12 months have not been, DC's top tier artists or even really their second tier artists. Yeah,
that's unfortunate. Yeah, because, a lot of times they'll be like, we don't have to worry about the art. It's coming to a close anyway. But
yeah, so, I mean, I know we mentioned this last time we talked, but maybe I wasn't just being crazy for that reason. I don't keep it. But maybe it did really feel like it was winding down. I mean, obviously we know it's winding down because we've got all of this knowledge now. But it just because there's a lot of the stories that just show up that don't really they're never referenced again. It's like they never happened.
I mean, like these Ben Robb issues, not even so much closing up shop. It almost seems to me like maybe we're just like killing time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would agree with that.
And isn't it funny all of a sudden we're not mentioning the Spectre in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, that's true. Wonder why that is.
Oh, I wonder if that's why all of a sudden Kilowog became Kyle's best friend.
Potentially. Well, and it makes a lot more sense that they got Kilowog back to standard GL form ready for Rebirth because they've known about it for Rebirth was already in the works, so that makes a lot of sense.
What?
And okay, so
that's one less Voldarian we have to turn around.
If he had been working on it since, say, if 174 was April 2004, go a year back would be 162, issue 162, right?
Yeah, that would put us around. That's gonna be around that Green Arrow crossover, right?
Yeah, end of Winnick's run, right? So, I think it was partly rearranging deck chairs, on the Titanic as it's going down, and the other part was doing things to prep for, the coming relaunch, really, which is interesting. And then, I have to say though that what just biding time, killing time, I really, I'm not a huge fan of. But them choosing to bring back Ron Mars, I think, is pretty freaking awesome because, he can speak directly to the beginning of this era since he's the one that started it. Mm-hmm. He created Kyle with
Daryl Banks.
Daryl Banks. Ugh, I can't talk tonight. And, wrote him for 6, almost 7 years. And now he gets to, put everything away, flip the light switch off, and lock the door on his way out, which I think is really kind of cool.
Well, that was the other thing that worried me. I was like, oh God, are they bringing in Ron Mars to kill his baby or something? But I was just like, because it's like, oh hey, Rebirth, and Hal Jordan's returning, and oh hey, Ron Mars is coming back to write the last arc.
This is a big deal. Do you know who does the art in the next arc?
I can't remember. I did.
It's not Banks. It's not Banks, though.
No, it is not Banks. Yeah, no, it's definitely not Banks. Hold on, let me see. 176. Luke Ross.
Okay, he's been around a while. I think I remember him doing Firestorm back in the late 80s. So, he's a solid artist.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. No, like I said, I already read that arc. Yeah, no complaints on the art. But
yeah, to end it that way though, and then bring Mars in. It's just obviously they knew that Rebirth was coming for a long time.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It just seems so weird that he would end at 175 on a cliffhanger like that, and then like, okay, Ron Mars, here you go.
Yeah, and then it's
because I'll just say Ron Mars's arc is very centered on Earth. So unless that was just a quick way to get Cal back to Earth.
I don't know. Maybe. Do we get any of the Guardians or Kilowog stuff?
No, not really.
Huh. Okay.
Nope.
Cool.
Again, very Earth-centric. There's a little bit of John. Of course, we're going to deal with the Jade thing. Cal goes,
and we don't see Marin. We don't see Marin again.
No,
ever.
Yeah, no. I'm trying to. Was she in that arc? I can't remember. Because I pretty much read these, and then I basically read right into the Ron Mars arc, so it's kind of melting together. But because what's the last we see of Marin in this 171 through 175? She's going
her job application for her interview with the DEO.
Oh, with the Jon Stewart sending the robots in. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Okay.
We see her in JSA Volume 1, Number 5.
Oh.
That is it. Oh, we also see her in the DC Retroactive story, that's old.
Yeah.
That's the DC Retroactive Green Lantern in the 90s.
Yeah.
I don't know. That supposedly takes place back then, but she appears in 174. She appears in the Secret Files and Origins, Volume 1, Number 3, and then she appears in JSA Volume 1, Number 5. And I don't think that's on our reading list, right?
I don't believe so, no. But I did JSA number because the ones the episode we're doing right before Rebirth, I think it's JSA Pass number 5.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
But
this was back in December of 99.
Yeah.
So it was just an old, probably guest appearance or something.
Yeah.
So 174 I think would be her pretty much last appearance.
Yeah, because I think they're pretty much she's basically getting the job with the DEO, but she has to move to Arizona or something.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's pretty much it.
So yeah, that's pretty much it for her. Former Dark Star. Because hey, the Dark Stars, while not Green Lanterns, Dark Stars are still kind of cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like closing time, right?
But again,
and also, there was a mention that Jade was, appearing in the new Outsiders.
Yes.
So I think that may be another reason why, that split had to happen as well.
Yes. Because yes, that was very Earth-centric. Because Cal's all over the place. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For it to be such a science fiction-y and what Ron Mars called it a special effects book, there weren't a lot of there are not a lot of constructs. There's hey, I blast you. Oh, there was a bomb that had big eyes on it or something in one of the issues, but I mean there wasn't a lot of. It was like it's more like a laser gun than it is a Green Lantern ring.
Yeah.
It's, just blasting people. So yeah, it okay. I have a question for you, Phil.
Yes, sir.
Because I don't know the answer for me. I think I might know the answer for me, but I'm curious as to what your answer is. So
tell me what to think. Okay, go ahead. Ben
Rob's run here.
Yes, sir.
Versus Winnick's run.
Ooh.
Which would you choose?
It's hard to pick. It's close, but I'd say maybe love or hate his direction. It seems like at least Winnick had like a plan in mind. This seems a little more flying by the seat of your pants.
Mm-hmm. And he did some good things after the Ion, leading up. But if you take into account, those early bumpy issues, like the first 4 or 5 he did, those were, kind of not the best. And Rob is even, right? His issues all. There's not one that stands out as either great or horrible.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're probably right. Winnick's run is probably quality just a little bit better, but man, it's close. It really is close.
All right, here's I'm sure you'll probably agree, but going out on a limb here, this whole volume of Green Lantern, I mean, again, we haven't read the Ron, well, you haven't read the last Ron Mars arc yet, but would you say Ron Mars is maybe the best writer we've had this volume?
Oh, without a doubt.
Even over He Who Will Not Be Named?
Yeah, because rereading his issues,
yeah,
the road back, I was remembering it a lot more fondly than it was, because it wasn't as, the pacing on it was really slow. You know, we didn't get to like issue 6, 5 or 6. You know, it was a lot of Hal walking around with gray hair, you know, Guy Gardner being whatever he was at that point. Don't get me wrong, I really think the road back is good, but it's not as good as I remembered it.
Yeah.
After that, the rest of the run is not awesome. You know, it really isn't. There's a lot of tinkering with past continuity, you know, to try to fix things that, you know, first off, if you don't bring it up, you don't have to fix it, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, ultimately his plans to get Hal out of the way for the reboot at 50, you know, which was, you know, have him go kind of rogue again. You know, I'd have to say Mars. In my mind, Mars really ushered in modern Green Lantern. Now, I'm not a fan of Emerald Twilight, okay, and I think,
well, that was orders. That was under orders.
Yeah, that was orders. Yeah, that was under orders, and I completely understand that. I just feel like it was, you know, suddenly, you know, oh yeah, he's always been like this. You know, no, you know, not really.
No.
So, but you know, starting fresh with Kyle, I mean, you know, granted, you know, we've got that horrible person Hal Jordan mentioned, you know, every few issues, you know.
That SOB, yes, I know.
But I mean, in the cosmic scheme of things, you know, if you take a kind of a long view, Mars and Banks did wonderful things for Green Lantern, right?
Yes. Oh yeah,
because they brought a lot of attention to the title, and they sold a lot of books, and made sure that Green Lantern, you know, kind of stayed relevant. Because before they came on, it wasn't selling well, and you know, it was just okay. You know, that's probably like the worst thing you could say about it. It's just okay. And
well,
that's not
good
enough.
Yeah, and again, too, like we were saying, He Who Will Not Be Named was doing like deep dives into stories from like 20, 30 years before even that 90s stuff, and it was like, okay.
Yeah. Oregano, sorry.
It's not the way to keep it fresh. Yes, oregano is not the way to keep it fresh. No.
However, you know, if it weren't for you know, Mars and Banks, you know, Green Lantern would have been kept alive during, you know, the mid 90s to the early 2000s. We wouldn't have got, you know, The Spectre by J.M. DeMatteis, which is a wonderful series that is still not collected. DC, it needs to be collected.
It does.
Go. And then, you know, that really paved the way for, I think, probably the best relaunch of a character in a superhero universe that's ever been done. I mean, and it's not just because I love Hal Jordan. I mean, just look at everything that was added. You know,
I of course love Hal Jordan.
Yes, but look at everything that was added to the mythos. You know that we got, and you know, it resonated. You know, he took a character that had been, you know, turned evil, killed because, you know, he's lame, nobody likes him, blah blah blah. Brought that character back and then enriched the, you know, the mythology around that to make it, you know, one of the, you know, a powerhouse seller for, you know, a decade, right? You know,
oh yeah, I mean, that's the two big things that revitalized some of these franchises, like Flash with the Speed Force, which Mark Waid created, and then the emotional spectrum. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, it's you know, it's just amazing. And, you know, it all comes back to, you know, Mars and Banks rebooting Green Lantern, you know, back in today that would have been a new number 1.
Oh yeah.
You know, but
yeah.
Green Lantern 48. So, but,
or they would have went to 50 and 51 would have been the new number 1.
Number one, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, and they were there putting in the work, you know, month in, month out for, you know, nearly 7 years. And Green Lantern was strong through all of those 7 years.
Oh yeah.
And then it wasn't. Then it wasn't. And I just one more time, I don't know who designed the new costume, and I'm sure you're a great artist, and I hate that costume. I hate it.
Again,
Really
yeah, it's not my favorite either, especially from my favorite Green Lantern. But it's one of those suits where only a certain artist can make it look decent. Yeah, it's too complicated. Again, it's like it's a freaking ring construct. It doesn't have to look like real clothing, or you know.
It could look like an Emerald Energy mech. Okay, you know, it could be anything. Yeah. So it's really weird kind of looking back on Green Lantern, you know, even back to the beginning of this volume, right? You know, because it launched in 1990, you know, and then we got 4.5 years of, you know, the He Who Shall Not Be Named, and it, you know, they tried. There was the Third Law crossover, then there was a crossover with Legion, and
oh god, that Legion crossover. I mean, issue 46.
Legion. Oh, and Dark Stars.
Dark Stars, yeah. I was going to say 46 was Reign of the Supermen, but I think the writing was on the wall by that point.
I think so too, yeah. Otherwise, they would not have nuked Coast City. So
yeah. It's like, no, we're getting rid of Cal Jordan. We're getting rid of Coast City.
That's right. Absolutely. But, you know, it really was. Mars and Banks really were kind of that modern storytelling on Green Lantern.
Yes.
Previously, it was still, you know, kind of, which is weird because that writer, which, you know, we've talked about,
yes,
was able to do such great work on a book like Wonder Man, right, with artist Jeff Johnson.
Yes, friend of the show, Jeff Johnson. Yes,
and yet, yeah, the writing on Green Lantern was so different. You know, it was like it was kind of, you know, hearkening back to an earlier type of writing, and I really don't think it worked really well at all. You know, it was just, there was, I don't know, but you know, with Mars and Banks on Green Lantern, you know, we got you know, Mars's approach, which was, you know, straight superhero. Granted, you know, I get that, and I missed all of the mythology of all the Green Lantern stuff, but it was also a less dense read than the writer had come before, because those were really, really wordy, which is, again, not the way that he wrote Wonder Man or, you know, some of the other books, many other books that he wrote. So I really feel like Mars and Banks don't necessarily get enough credit for kind of bringing the title into a modern storytelling, because you got, you know, new coloring on it, the paper stock was now different, and it feels like a more modern book than, you know, even, you know, number 45, 46, right?
Yeah.
You know, it just there's a real divide between the way those issues look and feel.
Doing it modern and doing it well, because remember, that was 1994. I mean, that we could have easily gotten violence and pouches and guns and stuff, and
we need more pouches.
Oh, yes. Oh my god. Was it last week? Lilith and I were doing an episode on, like, you know, some of the worst comic books, and of course I brought up Avengers: The Crossing, which Justin and I just did 4 parts of for Marvel Tales. But no, I was looking for a picture of The Crossing to put up on the screen, and someone else had done a review of it, and I'm assuming it's a show that, like, it's either a blog or a show that must review a lot of 90s stuff. You know what the name was? It's perfect. The Pouch Files.
Nice.
I was like, oh my god, that is great. The pouch.
You know, you need leather jackets, right?
Yes.
Wait, what's you're going to do something with the electric mullet? What it is?
Oh yes. If I ever did a show where I cover all 90s Superman, yes, electric mullet, yes.
Nice. Yeah. But it's interesting because these 175 issues that we've, gone through, which is a lot. There are some good issues, the road back.
Yes.
Is good. It's good. But, the next arc is a Guy Gardner. It's a comic. It's just comedy, right? With him and Gnort. We get a John Stewart arc, which kind of sets up the Mosaic.
Yep.
The Mosaic is a lot of things. And I think we would need a whole show just to talk about what the Mosaic is. But I feel like the Mosaic is a really interesting, title, and what was going on there. We'll chat more about that later. But then after, Mosaic seemed to be the focus of the writer, and the regular, and then Guy Gardner was straight comedy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the Green Lantern title after that was just kind of, it felt like it was treading water as well, just kind of killing time.
Well, it's like Star Sapphire's back. We bring Carol back, and then by the time we get through that, it's like, oh hey, Hal and Guy are going to duke it out to see who stays in the Corps.
Yeah, which that was what, issue 25, and not a fan of that because just no. Then we jump into some of the crossovers with the Dark Stars and Legion, and the third crossover, which is that Krona? I think that was Krona, wasn't it? Whatever. Yeah, I don't barely remember that. And then it's Reign of the Superman, and we're done, right?
Yep.
Boom, and we get a new modern Green Lantern title at that point.
Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, those first, now you mention it, those first 47 issues, it's just that's kind of, well, again, after 25, we're spinning out. John Stewart's getting his own book, Guy Gardner's getting his own book, so.
Mosaic, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's there's not, and Guy's book was just straight up comedy, at that point.
Oh, that was the 90s Pouches book, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like when, what was it, Bo Smith took over writing it?
I think so.
Bo Smith, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It got a lot better, and that guy was a lot more not the previous guy.
Well, they tempered him too, and then it's like they really kind of sobered him up once Emerald Twilight hit.
Exactly, yeah. And and then so we got Guy Gardner Warrior after that. But you're right, the main Green Lantern title was just kind of, I guess it was coasting. I mean, it feels like it was coasting. There just wasn't a lot going on, and it was either fighting starlings on a beach on Earth.
They steal his lantern, and oh hey, look, I am a stranger. I can tell you how to use Green Lantern's battery. Oh no, that must be Green Lantern with his hand already on the battery.
Well, okay, and there's actually a really good. Is that where Hal jumps out of a plane without a chute?
Yes.
And is able to. Okay, and okay, that's kind of cool-ish, but it's done. I feel like Jeff Johns does it so much better in that first Manhunter arc.
Yes.
Rebirth.
When he's coming for that lantern, he just basically smash it through the canopy. Yeah.
I mean, so it really is about execution. There's that same idea.
Mm-hmm.
Done, and then done, spectacularly, in a much more modern book. But I'm looking forward to seeing how Ron Mars ends everything up. Yeah. I mean, you just read it. I haven't read it yet, so.
Oh my god! But I'm like, wait a minute. We're doing a wrap up of Volume 1, but I guess so. I mean, Ron Mars and Dan are going to be here next week, so we might not have a chance to talk all this. And then after that, we're talking 3 JSA issues, and then for that Rebirth.
What's that? I've not heard of this story, Phil.
I need a big flashing sign. Rebirth.
Yeah, it.
Oh, that's what I should do. The crawl in the bottom of the screen. That episode, it'll just say Rebirth is here. It is Rebirth.
This is Rebirth. Yeah, all rebirth and no fun. No. All rebirth and no rest make blah blah blah. But yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like this. Yeah, this is kind of our only chance to look back at this whole series. Because we'll have Ron and Dan here, next week, and I'm really curious too, because I do want to see how he approached these kind of last 6 issues. If he knew what was coming down, or if it was just these are going to be the last issues. Did he have any knowledge about Rebirth and how that was going to play out, or anything like that? Because
did he even know they were going to use Kal in Rebirth? And yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did he have excellent questions?
Did he have? I mean, I don't think Ron Mars wanted to anyway, but was there orders? Don't kill Kal. Was it don't depower Kal?
Well, and then once Rebirth happens, it kind of solidifies that, for lack of a better term, the core of the core is 4 dudes from Earth, right?
Yes.
Hal, Kyle, John, and Guy.
The 4 Corpsmen, yes.
The 4 Corpsmen, and then we get even more with the New 52 reboot.
Yes,
we get
Simon, Jessica,
we get Jess. Then of course we get Joe.
Eventually, Joe.
Yep. So, and then we also are getting a new Green Lantern title in about a month.
I was going to say, yeah. What's the date? Is it even a month? Hold on.
May 8th. Is that right? Is that a Tuesday or a Wednesday? I forget.
I mean, it's DC, so I'm sure it's a Tuesday, but
yeah.
But I mean, if it's the 8th, I mean, we got less than a month. Today's the 15th, so.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. I don't know how we don't remember. We've only been talking about this every week. I think at least since
for the last 3 months, right? 2 months since we found out that it was finally coming out.
Ooh, $4.99, 40 pages.
Woohoo!
Well, yeah, because you get that Jon Stewart backup too.
Yeah.
Yep, May 9th.
May 9th. All right.
So a little under a month. Ooh. I was going to say, is that like 3 weeks or so?
So it's 3 weeks from Tuesday, I think, isn't it? Because Tuesday's the 18th.
Let's see. Yeah, Tuesday.
25th, 2nd, 9th. Yeah, 3 weeks.
Yep. What? So almost. Okay, so yeah, it's not going to work out completely perfectly. So maybe the week after we do Rebirth, we might have that new Green Lantern issue. So
nice, very nice. That's we totally planned that. 2 years ago, 2 years and some change ago.
Oh man, if I could do that, man, I'd be playing the lottery tonight.
Exactly.
All right,
so but what are your thoughts on this volume, Phil? Do you have anything that you want?
I mean, I think you summed that up pretty well. I mean, it's he who will not be named. Hit or miss.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we enjoyed that Flash crossover with Gorilla Grodd and Hector Hammond.
Mark, thank you, Mr. Mark Waid.
Yes, co-writer on that. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think of some of the highlights. Oh yes, we did have that Adam Strange 2-parter and where we brought Oregano back up. Yes.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then immediately following that, Predator and Deathstroke.
Yeah.
Talking about 90s.
Yeah. Pouches, lots of pouches.
Oh, but hold on. I know what you're saying about all the Guy Gardner comedy, but without that first Guy Gardner arc, we would not have such classics as...
He gives me his bone.
Yeah. That is true. I mean, and, even looking back on that silent issue of Green Lantern, has one word in it, right?
That's the Guy Gardner issue.
Guy Gardner. That was the Guy Gardner issue. That's right, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean... I don't know. A silent issue is technically a difficult thing to do, right?
Yes.
I mean, because it's all show and no tell. But I don't know, that era of Guy Gardner is just so unlikable, right? The character is just so unlikable.
Yeah.
I mean, and on purpose, I get that, but still, I like the more mature guy we got, after, like Guy Gardner year 1. That was his like second year, I think, and then he has to become Warrior for obvious reasons. But yeah, I mean,
we're back. We're almost on the cusp of Guy Gardner getting a ring back. So
that's true. Yeah, which is a really cool thing.
But the Rebirth episode, or at least issue 6, Ray, I'm expecting feedbacks. I told Ray, I sent him that one page. I'm like, here. I'm like, this is me and Will are covering this in a few weeks. He's like, I'm there.
Green Lantern Rebirth, issues 1 through 6.
Punching out someone's favorite character.
Batman.
That's right.
My favorite character.
Nice. But yeah, I think we've done this volume of Green Lantern justice.
Yes.
Looking at all the issues, and I have to say, I was surprised because, one, I did not enjoy the He Shall Not Be Named writers issues as much as I remembered them. So they don't hold up for me personally, and obviously my time reading the Mars and Banks version of Green Lantern was colored by they took Halloway, but going back and rereading them, they're good. They're really good. I didn't give them a fair shake at the time. And then my excitement to read the Winnick run quickly turned to disappointment. And, I feel like Ben Robb's run is just kind of there.
It almost seems like, remember between the Mars and Winnick run, he did those fill-in issues?
It feels like we got a bunch of those.
It feels like we got a year of fill-in here, too.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm looking forward to the last 6 issues and what comes next.
After that? Those 3 JSA issues, yes.
Exactly. I've been waiting for those for a long time.
I know.
Really long time.
But yeah, kids, we haven't said it enough this episode, but yes, next episode we'll cover in those last 6 issues with Dan from the Mosaic podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some other guy. Yes, that's right. Mr. Ron Mars, who wrote those issues, returning once again.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So, friend of the show, Ron Mars, returns next week, kids.
This is Ron Mars. You are listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Yay.
So we have taken this title from the 90s up to 2004. Does this end in 2004? The last issue is 2004?
I think, because 175 was May 2004, so, yeah, so.
Oh, so this will be like November of 2004.
Something
then.
like that.
All right,
yeah.
awesome.
Yep.
All right, we're catching up, but we're about to have a lot more stuff to read.
Well, I was going to say, there's going to be a couple titles, and then once we hit New 52, there's going to be green.
4. Red, Green, the Core, the Green Lantern, Green Lantern Core, Red Lanterns. Larfleeze gets a title eventually. Sinestro gets a title eventually. New Guardians is a title.
We're gonna have some Ion series or 2 in there. We're gonna hit Blackest Night, kids. So there's gonna be lots of stuff going on there.
That's gonna take a while. Because all those limited, there's 3-issue limited series around. There's 8 or 10 of those 3-issue limited series. We're gonna have to tackle 2 or 3 of those.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna. We'll figure out how we're gonna do those, if we want to do all of them, or
Mm-hmm. Or just summarize them and say this happened and this happened and this happened, or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, we're about to launch into a pretty amazing time for Green Lantern fans.
Exactly. All right, so we done, William?
I think so, sir.
All right. So, yes, kids, once again, send your thoughts, send your questions for Mr. Ron Mars. Email us, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And make sure you check out all things Capes and Lunatics, episodes, social media, merchandise, the Patreon. Please go subscribe to the Patreon. Find it all at tubespace.io/CapesandLunatics Podcast Network. That's tubespace.io/CapesandLunatics Podcast Network. All right. Speaking of comic book writers, Mr. Will Allred, where can people find you and all your works and crossover, especially crossover division?
Nice. You can find me at Wallred. That's at WALLRED at Gmail and Twitter and Facebook and other places too, I think, if I can remember right. If you want to find my comics work, currently I'm writing a book called Crossover Division. It's at crossoverdivision.com. I'm actually pushing the launch back a week just so we can get some additional things done. So we'll be launching the hardcover of Crossover Division. It's called Crossover Division Volume 1, Fictions and Other Truths. It'll be launching on Kickstarter on April 25th. And if you want to read Diary of Night, you can check it out at diaryofnight.com. Phil is not the only awesome podcaster that I annoy on a week-to-week basis. I also do a show with writer Kevin Joseph. It's called Explain Yourself, where we bring on comic creators who use crowdfunding to get their books made, typically on Kickstarter, and we bring them on to explain their books when they have their campaigns running. It's a lot of fun. It's Fridays at 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central, and come on and find some new comics potentially. And finally, obviously you have great taste. You're here, watching us, so you definitely love Quasar. And if you want to find out more about Quasar, you can check that out at the Quantum Zone, quantumzone.org.
Hey, boys, you looking at the party? I love the party.
I hope it's going somewhere nice.
Seems like I'm getting a package every other day.
I am God.
And the button that's going to get a workout in a couple weeks here, kids.
I, of course, love Hal Jordan.
Oh, indeed.
He's not going to be able to sit down that episode, kids. All right. Thank you for joining us again. Yes, the March to Rebirth. Yes, we're, 3 weeks away from Rebirth. But again, it's going to be fun between now and then. Ron Mars and Dan from the Mosaic Podcast will be here next week.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not like it's going to be boring between now and Rebirth. It's not, kids.
That's right. We're going to look back on the beginnings of Kyle and
at the end of this volume.
Yep. And talk to his creator.
All right, kids.
Really cool.
Come back next time. And remember, if you're taking down an intergalactic mafia, do not be boring. Good night.
Hi, I'm one of the High Priests of Khonshu Ray, and I have the sacred privilege of providing you, the loony listener, with a podcast honouring Marvel's very own Moon Knight. So join me and a host of others at Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or support the show by becoming a Patreon member. Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast. It's time to get your Khonshu on.